Just give me 1 minute. And during the session, everyone please mute yourself. CTS user, please mute yourself. Pankaj, please mute yourself. If you want to mute yourself, right click on. Okay, it's muted. Okay.
Okay. Mute yours. Okay. Oh, I got it.
Okay, thank you.
There is there none in the project. Don't disturb.
CTS user, please mute yourself. I can listen to a background sound. CTS user. CTS user, please mute yourself. Okay, I'm starting the today's session. So first let us start with what is SAP HANA. Then I give a 15 minutes brief introduction and then we move on to the main session. HANA stands for High Performance Analytic Appliance. So when we say high performance, what does it mean? Now, I'll just take a very simple example on demonstrating how does high performance work. Let us take a table, and this table has 4 columns.
Hello?
Yes, please. Yes, please. May I know who is this? Hello? So let us take a table, and this table has basically 4 columns. CTS user, please mute yourself. CTS user, please kindly mute yourself. There is a lot of disturbance from your end. Please, CTS user.
I did, Nagarjun. I did.
But from where the sound is coming from? Sandeep, please mute yourself.
Yeah, no.
I think this is you. I'm sorry, CTS user. I think this is Sandeep. Okay, now if you take a table and this table has 4 columns and then we have data. Now, so this table has around 2 trillion records. Let us assume for some time this table has 2 trillion records. So when we say 2 trillion records, this, who is joined? Tanvir, please mute yourself. Please, during the session, please kindly mute yourself because it would cause disturbance for everyone. So this table has 2 trillion records. The 2 trillion records, the data over here is a retail chain data, and then you're trying to ask a very simple questions. The question that you're asking is, who are my top 5 customers? So when you're asking these simple questions, now first to get 5 records to the top, it has to go to the entire 2 trillion record. It has to scan the data, aggregate, sort, and give back to the front end. The question over here is very, very simple, but the computation that it has to do in the back end is a complex computing in order to deep dive into 2 trillion records. So to answer this question, now the table is on MS SQL DB. Let's for some time assume that this table is on MS SQL DB. It would take 5 to 6 hours, 5 to 7 hours to answer. And if the same question in the same table, the same data is on HANA database, it would take around 2 to 3 seconds. Question, data and table is same, but the database is different. Here it would take 5 to 7 hours, and here it takes 2 to 3 seconds. Now why is that HANA so high performance when you compare with other databases available in the market? The reasons are, HANA is a in-memory DB. It's a column-oriented DB. It does massive parallel processing. Now what do we mean by in-memory DB, in-memory databases? Now if you take a simple computer architecture, there are 3 main parts. One is called CPU, RAM, and then disk. Usually databases store data, they are designed in such a way that they store data on disk. Example, MS SQL, Oracle, DB2, DB4, Sybase, all these are designed in such a way that the primary way to store data is always on disk. But for HANA, the primary way to store data is always on RAM. So HANA stores data over here, where other databases store data over here. Now why is that SAP designed in such a way that data should be directly stored on memory? Now what is the reason behind it? The reason is, we store data on an iron plate over here, but here we store data on transistors and capacitors. So data is nothing but content. The content is on a container called iron plate. The same content I store in a different container, the same content called transistors and capacitors. Now suddenly it is 100,000 times faster. So why we call in-memory database is because database is a collection of tables. The tables are in memory. That's why in-memory DB. So database is completely sitting on memory. We're not storing on disk. So the primary way to store data for HANA is on RAM. That's why it is high performance. Now the other reason is whenever you keep data close to the CPU, whenever you keep data close to the CPU, it is faster rather than getting from disk again to the RAM and to the CPU and to the front end. Why in-memory databases are faster is because RAM is faster in processing the data and data is kept close to the CPU. Now what are column-oriented DBs and why column-oriented DBs have high performance when you compare with a row-oriented DB? What is the reason behind it? Now usually row-oriented tables are good for inserting of data and column-oriented tables are good for read operations. Let us say you have these records in the table. This is row oriented and this is column oriented. The look and feel of row oriented and column oriented are same, but the way they store data is little different. So for a row oriented, if you see, the data is stored something like this. So it stores the first record and then it stores second record, so data is stored something like this. Now when you ask a question on a row oriented DB, let's say my question is top 5 customers. So in this case it has to go to the customer column and amount column. So in order to scan both the columns, because my question is not based on product or not quantity, my question is top 5 customers. So in this case I only require C1, 100, C2, C12, 1000. But in order to pick these values, it has to scan the entire data set. Because first it starts with C1, it has to skip this, it picks, it skips, it picks, skip, picks and skip, and so on. Because data is stored side by side over here. So in a row oriented, it is faster for inserts. Data is stored side by side, but when you try to read the same data, it has to skip the records in between. So that is the main disadvantage of row oriented. But it is also good when you want to read a single record. So when you want to read a single record, it starts from C1, P1 110, it stops over here because we are trying to read the entire row. But when you do set processing, when you try to process set of records, especially for analytical workloads, it has to skip few columns in between, like product column and amount column, quantity column. Now in this case we are only considering 4 columns, but in real time the tables are as large as 200, 300 columns. Now if you see column oriented, in column oriented, how do they store data? The data is stored little different over here. The data is stored something like this. In a case where you have 4, like you have C2, C3 and C4, P1, P2, P3 and P4. In column oriented, each column is stored in a separate file. So when you ask the same question again, who are my top 5 customers? Now in this case, it has to go to the entire customer column and go to the amount column. Skip product column and skip quantity column. Now please see, in here it doesn't have to skip records. See, for example, in this case, it goes to the C1 record and then again it has to go to the next subsequent 100, C2, and it has to skip lot of columns over here. Now in here we have only 4. Let us assume like 200 columns where it has to skip lot of values in between. But in here, the data is stored side by side. So for most of the analytical workloads, set processing is very good in column oriented. So it doesn't have to skip any records. It can read all the values in a particular column. So just to conclude on this, why column oriented have high performance is because they scan the required columns, but row oriented has to scan the entire table to give the output. Third one is, what is massive parallel processing? Now, when you have complex programs, like you have many join conditions and you have unions, so what does generally the current architecture that we have, now it is built on single CPU processing. Now there would be only one CPU, central processing unit, and this CPU will first go to the first one, it process the operator and then move on to the second operator, third operator and fourth operator and so on. But in parallel computing, in parallel processing, you have multiple CPUs, like now we have quad core CPU. So within one CPU you have 4 cores, core 1, core 2, core 3 and core 4. So in here, each operator is individually processed by different cores. So whenever you increase the system resources, obviously the work done is faster. So you have lot of computing power. It will try to process each operator individually, and finally it assembles the result and gives back to the user. So in sequential processing, you only use limited resources, and this resource has to be sequentially processed. But in parallel processing, each core is assigned to each operator, and these operators are processed parallelly, finally assembles all the operators and gives back to the user. How fast the scan speed and the aggregation speed can be done? It can do more than 3.2 billion records per second per core, and 15 million aggregations per second per core. Now it is by core. So each core or each CPU can process 3.2 billion records and 15 million aggregations. So in the sense, now for a 30 billion records, now if you have a 30 billion records, you want to process if you have a 10 core CPU, it will take only 1 second. Now if you have a one core CPU, it will take 10 seconds. So parallel processing. To explain in a very layman language, let's take this is a 5-storied building. You have a 5-storied building. Now you deploy one person to paint the building. Now this person has to paint each one individually. This person has to paint each floor individually, whereas, just give me 1 second please. I'm sorry, one student was not able to join, so he just called me. I'm sorry for that. So basically what I'm trying to say over here is, now if you have a 5-storied building and there is only one person to paint the entire 5-story, it will take 5 days for him, because first he has to go to the first floor, paint this, and the second floor paint. So it will take 5 days for him. Now if you have 5 people, so each person will actually paint his own piece of work. So 5 people will complete the work in 1 day. Nothing but in a daily life also we do parallel processing when you want to get work done faster. So why HANA is high performance and why it takes 2 to 3 seconds instead of MS SQL taking 5 to 7 hours is because in-memory stores data on RAM. RAM is faster in processing the data and data is kept close to the CPU. It's something like drinking water from a kitchen rather than taking a flight, going to Delhi or going to a different place, drinking water and coming back. So such a slow device is a disk. It's a very slow device in processing the data because disk has something like RPM, revolutions per minute. So every disk has an RPM, fixed RPM associated, and the data is so large that this RPM is not sufficient to process the data. That's why it takes a lot of time. And the second reason is memory is kept close to the CPU. Data is kept close to the CPU. That's why it is faster. Now if you see the difference between a row and a column, the data is stored in row. It means that it's stored side by side. So these row-oriented tables are not suitable for analytical workloads. It means that a few columns but all the data in the column, like customer column and amount column but all the data in the column. It is not suited for these kind of queries. They're very good for writing of data because just they have to insert one row in the table and the row is inserted over here. But they're very bad in reads of data because they have to skip records in between. But in column oriented, It only scans the required columns rather than the entire table. So that is the primary difference between a row and a column. In parallel processing, when you do parallel processing where larger tables or programs are broken down into smaller subsets and each subset is individually processed by CPU, and after processing, after the work done by each CPU, it finally assembles the result and give back to the user. So this is what HANA can do internally. Everything is done internally. But what is our role over here? So all this is done at the HANA level. So the HANA is designed in such a way that it performs all these things. What is our role? Our role is SAP HANA Application Consultant. The role of SAP HANA Application Consultant is, so we are called as application consultants or data modelers. So the primary role is data modeling, data provisioning, and data reporting. These are our primary roles and responsibilities. Now in real time, how does the system look? Let me try to explain how does the landscape look in the real time, in the real working environment. So in real time, the landscape of HANA. So this is the HANA database over here, and here you have data provisioning. How we would like to move data from source system to the target system. SLT stands for System Landscape Transformation, BODS, Business Objects Data Services, DXE, Direct Extractor Connection, HANA High Performance Analytic Appliance, BOBI, Business Objects Business Intelligence, ECC, Enterprise Core Component, and MS SQL Database. Now, why would we actually want to move a copy of data that is over here to HANA? Because just we saw in MS SQL it is row oriented, it is sequential processing, and then it is disk. Here column, massive parallel processing, and then in memory. This is slow performance and we achieve high performance. So that is the reason we would like to move the copy of data in MS SQL via the data provisioning methods. Whenever you do an insert or an update or delete operation, these operations are transferred in real time using SLT to HANA in real time. For example, you created a sales order or you created a delivery document or you done a financial posting. All the data is transferred real time. So SLT is primarily used when you want to transfer the data in real time. BODS, Business Objects Data Services, is primarily used to transfer data in batch, means scheduled. Now especially for inventory management, now if you want to ask a question, what is the stock on the shop floor? So here we require real-time transfer of data because we would like to understand what is the current situation on the shop floor. But using BODS, especially you take payroll scenario. In payroll, we only get salary once a month or 15 days once or 1 month once. So there is no need of real-time transfer of data to the target system. So that is batch, means scheduled process. Daily at 8 AM the job is triggered. And DXE transfers data via web using HTTP to HANA. So as a part of this course, under data provisioning, we use SLT plus DXE plus BODS, and also we have the other one, SDA. It is Smart Data Access and file transfers. So these are the data provisioning we have, and data modeling is nothing but defining relationship between tables. And for this purpose we use HANA Studio. And for data reporting is nothing but the presentation of data, that we do it at BOBI. So this is the presentation of data, this is where you do data modeling and here you do data provisioning. So let me show our system, how we have the system. Let me show the system. So if you go to the remote desktop, So this is HANA Studio. I'm opening the HANA Studio. So this is the HANA Studio. So we are working on the latest version. Version is SP8. Service Pack 8 is the latest version. 80. And we do data modeling at the HANA Studio. So there are different kinds of data models we generate. So we create data models. So we do data modeling. Once we do data modeling at the HANA Studio, now how do we get tables? So once this is completed, we generate sample reports. I'm actually seeing data for US. What data I want to see for country US. Click execute. And then I would like to see what is my revenue or gross revenue based in US, in United States. Because I only selected for US, they'll give me, and what is my regions in US. So based on different regions, I can have a clear visibility. So this is data presentation, how you would like to present the data. So once we complete data modeling, then we present data in BOBI, Business Objects, Business Intelligence. But this is only a sample preview of data that we are looking at the HANA Studio. Data provisioning is done using SLT. If you go to the quick launch and click data provisioning, so here we have SLT, System Landscape Transformation. So this is to transfer data in real time transfer of data from source system to target system. Replicate in process, so it continuously streams data from source system to target system. And DXC is a service. We'll see in each class in detail. We are going to spend a lot of time on this in the coming classes, but just I'm trying to show you a high-level overview of what we have in the system. SAP HANA Direct Extractor Connection service is up and running. So this is DXC. BODS, Data Services Workbench. Give the username and password. So we replicate the data from source to target. So we can actually load the data to the target. Just we need to keep executing the jobs. Once you execute these jobs, it transfers the data from source system to the target system. So these tables are transferred. C1 IDA is transferred to the HANA system. You go to the tables, and these tables are transferred from source systems. And if you see, these tables are column stores, column oriented. And if you click on the runtime information, the total consumption of memory is 3381 KB, means approximately 3 MB of data. And you can parallelly process this data. If you see Open Data Preview, it does parallel processing of data in terms of data analysis. And once the data modeling is done, then at the BOBI, Business Objects, Business Intelligence, we do the presentation. Go to the Tools folder. We have something called BA Launchpad. This is where end user generate reports. So this is the end user interface where end users. So we would see as a part of business objects, Web Intelligence, Explorer, Crystal Reports Enterprise, Crystal Reports, Design Studio, Analysis for Office, Analysis for OLAP. So these are the different tools as a part of BOBI portfolio, Lumira. I'll show a sample report. So these are different years and data. So you can see, so this is the final presentation of data to the end user. So end user basically views the data. Once we do modeling, finally basically it does different kinds of analysis. So the part of this course, let me show you the course content. So the part of the course content, architecture of HANA, modeling in SAP HANA, how do we do data modeling. So data modeling is the primary role of the SAP HANA application consultant. So we build data models and then currency conversions, SQL scripting, hierarchies, different kinds of joins, So these are different reporting tools we have. How to see the connectivity options using Web Intelligence, Universe, Design Studio, Lumira, and data provisioning with SLT, and administration in HANA, user management and security, COPA accelerator, and BW powered by HANA. This is a very high level overview of the course. So the course is based on SAP standard training material HA100, 200, 300, HA100, which is called Introduction to HANA, HA300 Implementation and Modeling, HA350 Data Provisioning, and HA900 ECC on HANA. So these are the standard SAP training material, and this is from SAP Education. So based on this, participant can write their certification. So most of the topics for the certification will be covered from this material, and I would provide the material and then 3 months server access. And most of the participants who have attended the course have cleared the certification, and also at the end of the course I would give you the dumps for the certification, that you can actually refer to those dumps and write. But the training will be mostly helpful, but after you go to the job. So you can actually read the dumps and clear the certification. But once you go to the job, the training will be very, very useful, and most of the consultants also got placed after the training. I have trained more than 500 people in HANA, and then I'm into HANA space from last 3 years. And I have around 12 years of experience in SAP, and the first 2 years in ABAP, then moved on to BW. I worked in business objects and data services and SAP, and from 2011 I'm in HANA space. So that is my brief introduction. If you have any questions, please go ahead until this part. If you have any questions until here, please go ahead.
Yeah, Nagarjuna and Ravindra speaking. So generally for the different databases, right? Oracle admin, SQL admin, people says like that. So if I will get this trend, am I going to be HANA admin or HANA modeler?
Yeah.
Want to become an admin, what do I need to do?
So there are two roles. One is called HANA modeler, the other one is HANA admin. So what is the primary role of a HANA admin? The role of HANA admin would be installation, sizing. 1 minute, I'll just give you a brief introduction about admin. So the prerequisite for learning HANA admin is, first you need to be aware of either SUSE Linux or Red Hat Linux, because HANA can operate on both these OS, SUSE or Red Hat Linux. And then you need to have the knowledge about SAP landscape in terms of solution manager, basis administration, and NetWeaver administration. This is what my recommendation. On the OS part, either SUSE or Red Hat. If you have basis administration, it is good. Solution manager knowledge, and then NetWeaver administration. And once you complete this part, then you can go for HANA administration. That is my recommendation. Otherwise it is very difficult for you to survive on the job. So this is for admins. But for data modelers, it would be something like you require a basic knowledge, what is a table, what is a join, very basic. But especially for HANA admin, you need, this is your roadmap. All right?
And solution manager, why do you suggest for solution manager for HANA admin?
Because whenever you use SAP systems, then most of the time you have ECC on HANA or BW, right? Because it is a database, and then most of the administration work you need to do from the solution manager. I mean, in order to have a full grip on the system, if you don't have it, is no problem, but people would ask you on the if you see the job requirement.
Okay.
Because again, if for HANA transports, again you need to integrate HANA with solution manager whenever you want to transport lifecycle management.
Mm-hmm.
You use CTS, change transport system. You integrate with solution
Yep.
manager and move the transports. Please. Any other questions?
Hi Nagarjuna, this is Mahendra.
Yes, could you please be a little louder? I'm not able to hear you.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes, please.
Yeah, this I'm planning for the certification 10th of December.
10th of December.
Possible to cover you? Yes.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah. Okay. That's only my doubt.
Okay.
Because I have alert because I already got trained, SAP trained for HA300.
Okay.
It was almost a year back.
Okay.
I'm planning for 141 certification.
Okay.
We can cover that, sure, right? Till 10th of December.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Mr. Nagarjuna, we have in certification for this thing, for application side, we have two kinds of certification there. So what kind of dumps are you going to provide? For the basic one or the professional one?
Because you are not allowed to write professional, because you need to have experience in it.
Yeah, this is Asher.
Sure.
My background is security.
Okay.
I'm more or less interested in the security area. How to from security angle. So what do I really have to attend the entirety of this course to accomplish that, or can I give? If there's any way, do you provide anything where I can go straight to the security area?
Security area is something you have to concentrate on GRC, governance risk compliance. So in SAP you have a separate course called GRC. So if you are from a security area, you need to basically go for that course. Security background.
Yeah, well, yes, I have. I'm a GRC trained consultant.
Okay.
So how do I interact HANA into GRC or control HANA security from a GRC
perspective? So in that case, actually, if you see, most of the time in big organizations, everything is controlled in GRC, and then it's only the touch points that you need to take the HANA administration training. So coming to the security, that what I would cover is the analysis authorizations. So analysis authorization in the sense, now please see here I have indicated the authorization concept. If you see user management, how to create users roles, and then template roles, analytic privileges. Analytic privileges is nothing but how you would control the data from the end user perspective, especially for reporting. So we are going to cover in the user management security. But for the entire SAP landscape, the security role is different than HANA administrator. HANA administrator focus is on installation, patching, migration, database migrations, but security is purely a different role altogether. So these are the topics as a part of data modeling we're going to cover here.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Hello.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Nagarjuna, I'm Pankaj.
Hi, Pankaj.
Nagarjuna, one question. What kind of role HANA have? Like you said, admin role, modeling role, and any other role like programming, developer, HANA developer.
HANA developer is something like you need to work on the JavaScript or HTML5 or CSS,
Okay.
cascading style sheets.
Okay.
So, and it would be most on the ABAP. For example, let us take ABAP systems, and most of the ABAP developer will be something like it would be working on ABAP on HANA or working JavaScript on HANA.
Okay. What do you recommend? Because I am SAP ABAP certified consultant. Plus, I have 1 year experience in ABAP. Now, I'm currently working in IT company as a role of SAP BW consultant. So, I have BW knowledge.
So, what my recommendation
so what
is?
do you recommend?
My recommendation, if you're from BW consultant, then you can 100% go for this course, because BW does data modeling, data reporting, and data provisioning. The same thing we do in HANA. Or the ETL part. So it will be most suitable, this course is most suitable for you.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Nagarjuna, I have one question to ask you.
Yes, please.
Yes, this developer role, is this a kind of a project-based job, or is, because admin you need in all the companies, but for the developer side, do you think it's a project-based job, or is it the same like admin? Because in a company, admin required all the time, but not the developer. So what do you think about this thing?
HANA is a application platform. A platform is something which can be used for every language. For example, HANA can support Python, HANA can support Java, JavaScript, HANA can support .NET, HANA can support HTML5 in every language, because HANA is a platform. So as you said rightly, that it is specific to a project. So on a particular project, if they require JavaScript people, they would hire JavaScript people. But again, without data modeler, a JavaScript guy cannot do anything, because you need to have data model. Even to call the data model, on top of it, JavaScript guys build the application logic and call these data models to the front end, to the HTML5 or the UI5. So once we create data models, and then these people come into picture. JavaScript, HTML5, and it is very specific to project. Now, if you do not want to use BOBI, business objects, business intelligence, or you want to have the third-party reporting tools like Tableau, ClickView, TIBCO Spotfire, and in case you do not want these analytic tools, then you can actually create your own user interfaces using HTML5, and using JavaScript you can call the data models. Alright?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. because data modeler is required all the time. Without a data modeler, the first step is to do data modeling, then only we can do presentation of data. So there is a huge demand for data modelers in the market.
I understand. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. Okay, I think someone is asking some question.
Nagarjuna, one question.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Is there? Will you provide any placement assistance after HANA training certificate? HANA training. Actually, I'm looking for certificate also after the training. So, will you provide placement assistance kind of?
Yeah. Can you please mute yourself after asking? I'll just answer your question. Please mute yourself, Pankaj. I'll just answer your question.
Okay.
A lot of disturbance is coming from the background. So first of all, coming to the certification, I will provide you the certification terms. So based on the certification terms, you can easily go through the certification. And the second part is coming to the working. So I usually provide a lot of assistance in terms of after the certification, or you want me help you for different things, like you want to, but we can discuss it offline, and I can still help you in every aspect. Where are you from, Pankaj? From India or from US?
No, I'm from India. I'm
Okay.
working Hyderabad only.
Okay. We can discuss.
One question. Okay. Thanks a lot. What would be the duration of the training?
The duration of the training,
How
would
many?
be, yeah,
How much?
the duration of the training is 35 to 40 hours.
Mm-hmm. Okay, weekend or weekdays, both.
So this is a weekend batch.
Weekend days.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thanks.
So, Mr. Nagarjuna, this 35 to 40 hours mean how many weeks?
35 to 40 hours means for a week, if you take 2.5 to 3, and then for every week we cover 6 hours. So divided by that many weeks. So 5 to 6 weeks approximately.
So it means that we're going to be done by end of December.
Exactly. Perfect.
Thank you.
Are you also running weekdays sessions as well?
Yeah, we do run weekday session, but I think the batch would be in a different timing, and it would be, I think, approximately starting from 20th or 21st, and that would be on the 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. in the morning, IST. That's a weekday class.
Is it 7 days or Monday through Friday?
It's a Monday to Friday.
Okay.
Monday to Friday, each class is of 1 hour. Sometimes the participants may not be attending the weekday class, and sometimes they may be having weekends. For example, let us take Zubair. So he actually more interested in weekend class. So we have weekday class as well as weekend class.
Oh, okay. So you intend to finish it in about 6 weeks as well?
Yeah, exactly.
If somebody, again, going back to my link to my previous question, if somebody don't want to, you want to skip you don't want to be a consultant, just want to focus on the security area, what would be your recommendation?
My recommendation is to continue working on the GRC, and then also look into the touch points, GRC to HANA, how these touch points are interlinked from GRC to HANA. Because already if you are a GRC consultant, and I know GRC is powered by HANA, So I think on the functional area or the functional part, the design aspect, everything would be same, except that GRs would be using HANA as a database.
Okay. Okay. All right. I appreciate that.
Yep.
And Mr. Nagar, this server access, do we get the server access 24/7?
Yeah, 24/7, exactly.
Yeah, 24/7, exactly. Okay. And when we could get it?
You would be getting once we start. Could you please mute yourself, please? Okay. So you'll be getting once we start our course. For example, once we start our exercise, immediately on the same day I will send you the server access. Once we start our exercises, then we start on the same day.
So regarding this course content HA 100, so do we have to follow that for practicing the stuff, or are you going to provide something for practicing?
So coming to the practice part, I would provide the recorded videos. You can go through the recorded videos and then you can practice. Or, as you said, you can also practice from the material that I would provide you. It's up to your choice. Either you can see the recordings and then you can practice, or either you can go through the practical sessions.
Thank you.
Any other questions, guys?
Yeah, Nagarjun, you said HTML5, JavaScript, all those things, right?
Yeah.
So for those are for developers, or to whom we related to that?
Actually,
For the HANA development.
yeah, there are sometimes ABAPers actually also do JavaScripting, but again they have to be cross-trained because most of the ABAPers do not know JavaScript. But in some companies they cross-train ABAPers to JavaScript, and then they have to do the coding. Now if you're not interested much on the coding part, then you can always switch over to the HANA developer. HANA modeler. So HANA modeler main role is, most of the time it is GUI based. So 90 to 95% is on is a GUI, navigation. Only 5% will be the coding part. But it is exactly opposite of development. In development you have 95% coding, and everything will be coding in the development part. Like you need to know JavaScript, you need to know HTML5, cascading style sheets, UI5, and then Fiori, all these things on the coding aspect. But coming to the developer aspect, most of the time it is just like a GUI. It is something like model to code. You generate the model, system generates the code. For example, if you see over here, so when you generate a model, so it generates the column views. So these are the different column views. Now system generates the code for you. All this is done by system, and we can't even modify this code. This is system generated code.
If that is the case, why do they need? I mean, what is the purpose of doing developers? HTML, JavaScript for the cloud computing or something else?
This is something like when you want to build your custom user interfaces. For example, you want to build a custom interface where you would like to see sales orders, delivery documents, financial documents. It's something like an ABAP screen, how you actually develop an ABAP screen, but that would be based on the HTML5. As you said rightly, that would be mostly on the cloud side.
Mm-hmm. So it strongly says that HANA modular doesn't have much coding part, but we need to write all the SQL statements, right? Or no?
That we have to do because we have something called SQL scripting. You have CE functions. You have 14 CE functions like join, left outer join, union, conversion, CE calculation. So that would be the other 5% part of it. Now, whenever you create a model like calculation view, we have two. One is graphical view and scripted views. So in a scripted view, we use a CE functions, something like this. This would be very, very easy in terms of writing this code. A standard syntax it has. So based on the standard syntax, we have 14 functions that we have to use. But again, to use CE functions, you need to have data models. Without data modeling, CE functions are again useless. CE functions are basically used to call these data models.
So, Mr. Nagar, what my understanding is, so I mean, by these 14 function or whatever you're saying, we just have to modify that script. Is it right?
Exactly.
Exactly.
The syntax is provided by SAP. So based on that syntax, you have to use this. So just give me 1 minute, guys. Just give me 1 minute. 1 minute. Give me 1 minute. Yes, please. Please go ahead.
Hello, Nagar.
I'm sorry. I had a few things to just see. Yes, I'm back. Yes, please.
Okay. Hello, Nagar.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
One question. In data modeling part, HANA modeling part, is there any coding required, a back coding required? As you said, 5% of coding there will be there.
Yeah.
Around.
ABAP coding is not for the data modelers, but that is on the ABAP side. That is on the development side. Please see, you have HANA modeler, and this is HANA development, right?
Okay.
This is where ABAPers will be working on the Eclipse environment. That is different altogether.
Actually, the thing is, I have ABAP knowledge, BW knowledge. So you said modeler would be good for you.
Exactly. So in BW you write routines, right? Start routine, end routine, you write, right?
Yeah.
So that is what. So in the same way, in the HANA modeler we use SQL scripting. So
So we need to learn some new languages.
Yeah, at the database, ABAP will be not supported because ABAP is an application layer programming. It is not the database layer programming. So the same functionality of the ABAP can be used in the SQL script.
Okay, so we need to learn SQL script.
Yeah, SQL script you do on the C functions. It's very, very easy. It's very
Okay.
it's very easy to learn, because I would say
You will teach us, right?
yeah. ABAP is
You will teach us.
difficult, very difficult when
Okay.
you compare with SQL scripting, because some SQL is something like a English language that's very easy.
Mhm.
And in most of our colleges we are taught SQL, right?
Yes. Okay. Because I haven't had experience on SQL sort languages. No?
Okay, then should be very
Just
easy for you.
said like, okay.
Just for everything you have a standard syntax. And for example, let us take for C column, for C join, C overlap, C calculation. For all these things you have a standard syntax. Just we need to follow the syntax. Once you practice couple of times, it would be very easy.
So when did the HANA came into picture?
Now it's been like now,
2011.
yeah, the initial concept started at 2002, but the first release, the prototype was released in 2010 December, and publicly available at 2011.
So what's the career opportunity in India?
There are a lot of opportunities were there. Now when I started my career 3 years back, I would not even see one job. But now if you go to Naukri and just type in SAP HANA, a lot of openings are there, especially in SAP India.
Okay.
So most of the jobs only for modelers or any other thing?
Yeah, there are jobs that are relevant for BW powered by HANA. There are jobs for native HANA modelers. There are jobs for ABAP powered by HANA, ABAP developers for HANA, and there are also jobs for HANA admins. So a lot of jobs are there because HANA is an application platform that can be powered on any application. I mean, it's an application platform where you can develop solution in HANA by using a river language. But coming to our aspect, for everything we need data modeling. So most of the jobs I see in future are based on data modeling. I mean, continuously for everything, for HANA development, for everything we need to create, for BW powered by HANA, even all the projects which are in BW right now, they would like to move to HANA, they would like to move on to HANA and then build native HANA models, because HANA is high performance when you compare with BW. So
what like a non-SAP systems? Still it is usable?
Yes, it is still usable, because from like let us take a non-SAP system, and then you could create something called virtual tables. Now if you go to the data provisioning area, here you have something called smart data access. Now just you can access using a remote source connection.
Okay.
So you see all the non-SAP systems over here.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So you can use unstructured data like Hadoop, all the non-SAP systems, and you can connect to these databases, and using a virtual table concept you can access the data. Or the other way is you can transfer the data in real time using SLT. Or you can use BODS, Business Objects Data Services, is an ETL tool. So using this ETL tool you can transfer the data.
That means like the company has to have the SAP HANA, right? That means it's like a separate license or some kind of a...
Yeah, it's a separate license.
They need to install whole SAP, or just they can install only SAP HANA?
They can only install SAP HANA.
Oh, okay. Okay. And actually I'm working in a transformation side. Do you think what role is exactly for me, like a modeler or development wise?
So you're working on the transformation on the science, you're writing business rules most of the time, is it?
Yes, exactly.
So it would be most suitable for real-time transfer, SLT plus HANA.
SLT plus HANA. Okay.
Yeah, real-time movement of data.
Okay then. Thank you.
Okay.
Nagarjan, as I can see in your screen, there is in the screen bar HANA, SAP HANA development, SAP HANA modeler resource. If you go to next to that, BW modeling.
Yeah.
What is this? That model, BW, SAP BW modeling.
Exactly. So BW modeling can be done in native HANA right now. So you can do data modeling of BW, but you create something called composite providers. ODS views, open ODS views, composite providers.
Okay, now DSO.
Yeah. Advanced DSO objects. All this can be done.
Okay, we can create here itself in HANA. Like we are creating info provider on SAP BW.
Yeah.
So we can create here itself. There's going that part.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here I've given the topics for that, the course content.
Appreciate.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Nagar, once we're done with the course, after practicing, after completing the certification, when we go in a practical market, and so we have to focus on what kind of topic for a job, like SAP application consultant or data modeler, like what exactly the title is going to be to apply?
Actually, application consultant and data modelers are same. Both are actually same roles. But what is the application consultant is a broader role in terms of you have to work on SLT, you have to work on DXC, you have to know the connectivity options using BOBI. It's a little broader in terms of role. But coming to a modeler role, it is basically limited to HANA Studio. But as a part of this course, we are going to cover application consultant. But in real time, again, the focus would be on data modeling. Please see, here I have data modeling topics. But as a part of the application consultant, we also have topics that are relevant for reporting, data provisioning using SLT, and administration, security, user management. All right. So the part of SAP application, SAP application, you require HA100, HA300, HA350, and HA900. These are the standard SAP training material. And I'm sorry, excuse me, I'm sorry. These are the standard SAP material. Now, based on this material, the focus would be on the SAP HANA application consultant. But again, in the job market, they would be asking data modelers with scripting knowledge, data modelers with SLT, data modelers with DXC, SLT. So that's the difference there. But
So
both are
it means that once we introduce ourselves to any company or any employment agency, then we have to introduce ourselves as an application consultant.
exactly.
And a part of that, once we're introducing ourselves, then we have to let them know that we know the data modeling too as a part of my job.
Exactly.
Is that true?
Perfect.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Nagarjun, Sandeep here.
Yes, Sandeep.
Actually, I got to know that SAP HANA is mostly for big data management, so as Hadoop. But on one of your screens, like Hadoop is listed as one of the adapters. So how does it make sense to get the data from the other big data source?
Actually,
What kind of scenarios do we use then?
Actually, if you see HANA, HANA is an in-memory DB, and Hadoop, there are two primary components in Hadoop. One is called as HDFS, Hadoop Distributed File Systems, and the other one is called as MapReduce. So those are the main, it's like a heart of the Hadoop. And HANA is a relational RDBMS and Hadoop is a file system. That is the first difference. And the second difference is HANA cannot process unstructured data. Hadoop can process unstructured data. Unstructured data in the sense, when you want to do analysis on photos or videos, that is not possible. So you actually process photos and videos in Hadoop. The output of that you keep in something called Hive, or you can store the output of Hadoop in Hive, and then from Hive you can access the tables using the smart data access. So it's basically processing will be done and the output will be done at HANA, because HANA is an in-memory DB. The files data is converted to table and HANA can access the tables. Alright?
Okay. So basically, the data won't get stored in HANA. It just only processes the data and returns back to the Hadoop.
Exactly. Correct.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, hey Nagajan, this is Amit.
Hi, Samet.
So, hey, when you're planning to start actually the first class, I mean main course?
The main course we will start from tomorrow, but today is just introduction course, and then most of the time I would like to answer your questions on today, so that whatever doubts you have before starting the course, like anything that you get into your mind, you can just ask me, so that the first class I would start from tomorrow.
It will be the same time?
The same time, yes. And today is something like a very generalized discussion about anything that you want to ask me. We can discuss on today.
Hey Nag, can you provide the documentation prior to the class so that maybe you can take a look at it?
Sure, I'll do that. No problem.
And also, means are you going to provide how to log into the system and those details in later classes, right?
No, I mean, once you actually done the registration part, immediately you would get all the relevant things that you would require. So, for example, once the registration is done, I would be giving you a folder where you can access the documents, the login details, and how to access the servers, how the landscape is, and all the details would be there. And each user would be.
Okay, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, each user would be given a separate user access, which is the remote desktop, and that will be available 24/7. Certification, the original certification material will be given, that is from SAP, and the training videos will be provided. You can keep the training videos for your further reference. Certification dumps, 100% sure if you attend the certification you will clear the exam. So all these things will be given.
Okay. And you are recording all this discussion also, right, today?
Yeah, I'm recording, yes.
Because
I'm recording all this discussion that we are doing now. And then shortly I will send out the videos to you once the registration process, because I need to talk to the front office and then take it forward.
Oh, okay. Okay, actually we registered this morning. Okay, let's see then.
Oh, okay, then obviously you would get everything to you.
Okay then, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Nagarjuna. This is Ramikar here.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nagar.
Thank you. See you tomorrow same time.
Hello.
Thank you.
Nagarjuna.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Nagarjuna, this is Mahendra here.
Yes, Banu, please go ahead.
The plan for me to complete the course before 10th of December. Is it? You said that this is a weekend batch.
No, actually, I need to take a personal discussion on this to you, because you would attend the different sessions in different classes.
Yeah, that's fine. Because even my plan also like that, like user management part I'll attend parallel, and the like provisioning part I'll attend parallel.
Yeah, that's what. I will discuss you in offline about this. Yeah, because your case is a little different. I need to talk to you on a personal case-to-case basis.
Yeah, fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi Nagarjuna.
Hello. Hi.
Yeah. After listening to all your discussion, I was a bit scared because I was not from the SAP background.
Mm-hmm.
So, do I face any problem regarding this? Because I was not from the SAP background.
No, ma'am, because the only thing actually I'm telling is because most of the guys are actually working on non-SAP projects or they are working on SAP, and if you try to understand, none of the people, none of the participants really don't know how to do technically in HANA, but I'm actually telling them the touch points, how this HANA is related to their field, because everyone has a different experience altogether. So I'm just trying to correlate with their experience and how HANA will be suitable or not. For example, if you take, there are several people who are coming from security background, some people are interested in administration side, some people are from the BW background, some people are from the ABAP background, and some people are actually working on a completely a non-SAP. But again, our focus would be primarily on HANA.
Okay.
But all this time I was trying to discuss how it is correlated to their existing fields. So we would go on a very step-by-step process of trying to understand, just that everything will be taught from the scratch, from the day one onwards, just like something everyone is new to the IT field. That is how the class will start. But today is a general discussion, so we are discussing lot of topics. But on a daily class, it would be very focused on a single topic, and only that topic would be covered at that particular point of day. And that would be a very step-by-step approach. But today is a general discussion, so please don't get scared. Because
Thank you.
yeah, thank you. So anyone other questions? If you do not have any questions, you can leave the session. If you have questions, you can stay on the session. I'll wait for your questions.